Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to an episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my partner Anthony. This is a Judo podcast for Judo players by two Judo players. So Anthony, it's been about 12 hours I've seen you last. How you doing?
12 hours. We've been recording a lot lately. I actually lost my voice yesterday. I had my late Thanksgiving thing with my family. I lost my voice, and just a combination of after getting sick and then recording on the podcast and talking too much. So, yep. So I'm going to leave most of the talking in this episode to you, and I'll just nod my head and say, yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Shoot. Yep. No, you better explain some of this stuff that's happening, because we have been doing a lot of podcasts. Like we did the specialty episode. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, so we put out a specialty episode about the parks and recreations out here doing, what was it called again? What was the full name of it? It was the Sports and Recreation Clinic for the Blind.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
For the blind. Yeah, being held out here in Los Angeles. It's going to be held at PAL. It would already happened by the time this one come out, but it's a really cool podcast anyways. Check it out, because we've had blind members that are...
It'll happen the morning of this, like an hour after this podcast comes out, actually. Yeah.
So you can listen to podcasts really fast and then go to this technically.
Well, you would have seen the other video already, but
yeah. But it's a really cool podcast. Check it out. They're doing some really good things, trying to just broaden judo and make the event. Well, no, I'm talking about our podcast. Our podcast is great.
Oh, you're talking about our podcast episode. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
A special episode.
Our podcast is amazing. The event should be good too. The event should be very good, I think. All right. So with that, let's get down to what's going on in judo world out there. So again, in the last episode, we talked about how Nike's now sponsoring USA Judo. Nike's now putting USA Judo in their APS system, bracket, sports, whatever they're going to call it, their sponsorship stuff. So what we're wondering is, like, what's going to happen? What's going to come out? Are they come out judo gis, rash guards, t-shirts? What's going to happen? Well, it's already out. It came out just in time for Black Friday. Coincidence, right? Oh my God. What? This comes out right before Black Friday.
It wasn't on sale though, if I remember. Was it?
Yeah, I don't think, I don't remember. I remember seeing a 50% off thing, but that might've been for all USA sports stuff. So it might have been on sale. I don't know. So you can go on the website, look it up. To me, the stuff is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Nike t-shirts with the swoosh on the side here, where they see the Fuji kind of, the swoosh on the side right there. And then it says USA Judo symbol right there. And the renderings they have up look horrible, in my opinion. They look super cheap. What do you think, Anthony?
Yeah, I thought since it's Nike, I thought it'd be better, but it looked like someone just paid Nike for their shirts, and I guess the right to sell it under this is why it's not a sponsorship with Nike. This is why the whole time when we recorded that episode, I was like, maybe we should make it really clear that this is not a partnership with Nike. It's a partnership with Athletic, APS, whatever we call it. Because the shirt renderings are pretty bad. And it looks like, it looks like I went on redbubble.com. And for those people who don't know, it's like an online service where you can print out, create your own shirts, create your own mugs. It looks like I went online and used the online maker thing to design my own shirt, and just so happens to be a Nike shirt that I want to print on. And yeah. So I mean, $32 for a t-shirt. Come on, like.
Okay, so here are the prices. So the cheapest shirt they had. So I was like, I went for what the cheapest thing they had to the most expensive thing they had. So the cheapest shirt they had, and I think it was just a plain shirt. I think it was like for men or women unisex shirt, was $28. $28 for the cheapest shirt they got. And it's just the judo symbol, USA Judo in the middle, and the Nike swoosh.
A badly rendered USA Judo symbol, by the way.
Yeah. And the most expensive thing they had on the menu was $120 for a windbreaker hoodie, which $120 for a windbreaker hoodie, that better be like some great windbreaker hoodie thing. Like that's just, I would be expecting like the whole warm-up suit for that much.
That's actually the best looking thing they had there, I think, actually. But personally, I would have preferred it without the USA Judo logo. But that's It's just like the
That's the
Mizuno
whole
gear.
sponsorship. That's the whole sponsorship. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, so I'm sure USA Judo gets a cut every time you buy one of these things. So I guess it's kind of like selling merch. You know, some places, some clubs sell really poorly designed merchandise, but people buy it anyway to support their club. That's basically what it seems like to me. But you would think they would at least at the very least, show actual photos and hire a photographer to actually take photos of the actual goods instead of using these poor renders. Or to get a step up, you could have just hired someone to make better designs. Well, you just literally slapped USA Judo's logo on like a plain shirt and you're selling it. Like, but then that's kind of what I expected anyway. So I guess there goes our hope for judo gis, right?
But we don't know. There's still time. Maybe we'll see the next tournament, because the next tournament will be the Tokyo Grand Slam, will be happening the same weekend we release this podcast. So let's see if there's a gi out there. Maybe we'll see. Well, I still have hope.
Do you think I would get sued if I made it for myself? Like if I just made a shirt, I took a Nike shirt and printed the USA Judo logo on it for myself.
If you go to flea market and do it, they'll do it for no problem for you.
Yeah.
If you sell it, if you're trying to sell it, yes.
Yes, obviously. If you just, but make it for myself.
If you just made it for yourself, no, because they have those iron-on print things. They sell the like Staples and stuff like that. You just print out your computer and iron on whatever shirt you want. So no, I don't think so. Why? What's your plan, Anthony?
No, I'm just wondering, like, what?
We're gonna have some Tatami Talk Nike shirts.
You literally would be buying this out of the goodness of your heart for just and donate money to USA Judo or you really like USA Judo or something, because I wouldn't buy it. Like, if I really want it, I'll just print it myself. That's basically what it looks like. So,
yeah. Well, we don't know what their shirts actually look. We haven't seen it in person yet. We might see it in person this week. Like I said, at the Grand Slam when the athletes are warming up and stuff, we might see what the shirts actually look like. But yeah, the renderings they have up on the website right now do look horrible. They don't look as good as the wrestling ones. They don't look good as the track and field ones. They just look like they slapped the USA Judo symbol on a shirt and sell it to you. And like I said, they have shirts, hoodies, backpacks, tank tops. They have all kinds of stuff like that. But there was no sweats, no shorts, and no gis. So let's see what happens in the future. So anything else you want to say about that before we go off? To our next
I don't
topic?
think they're going to make judo gis. If they set the bar so low for these apparel, they're not going to make judo gis.
All right. So
pretty sure about it.
All right.
And they're
okay.
If you go to APS's website, at the bottom it says APS is a global footwear and apparel licensee of Nike Inc. Marketing, distribution, and selling Nike Pinnacle Performance Footwear. So I just read that as we help you license out stuff to your goods to Nike. Basically, it's all I read it as, but they're not actually partnering with Nike. So no judo gi.
So it would be giving them the right to use Nike gear. It would be giving them the right to put USA Judo symbol on Nike gear.
On Nike gear, yeah. I think so.
Okay. All right. So that's that. If you want to buy one, be great. Sponsor USA Judo that way. Very nice of you. Appreciate it. I hope it helps out the players out there. That's just my thing. I hope it helps out the players. So next thing that just came up that happened in judo is that this past weekend we had the PFL happen, the finals. And I'm just going to get to the brass tacks. The first things first. Yes, judo has a great player out there, and she she did lose. So Kayla Harrison, she did lose in the finals of the PFL's women's 2022 155 tournament. She lost to the Brazilian player that she beat before, how do you say her name?
I don't know. Like, I honestly don't follow Kayla Harrison's fights anymore because they were not. As I hate saying that, but all can crushers in the past, and then and then now that I think this one was put behind the pay-per-view wall this time.
Yeah, this was a pay-per-view. Yeah. So
I was like, I really don't want pay-per-view to watch that, right? Plus, I've been really busy, so I haven't been able to watch it, and what was the other issue I had? Right. The I haven't really been watching MMA at all lately because the reffing has just been horrible. Like between Izzy's stop it. Like every time I go back.
Oh my God, you're still on that.
Every time I
go
have
back to it again.
A gathering where I'm like, okay, I guess we'll have a gathering. Everyone wants to watch MMA, so let's watch MMA. Every time I'm just like, what are these refs doing? What is that stoppage? What is that? Like 10 eye pokes and there's no point taken. This guy poked the guy in the eye twice and he gets a point taken. Like there's no consistency in the reffing, which is also why I've been watching less judo too, because it's kind of similar problem. I just watch highlights now for both MMA and judo for that reason, because the refereeing really just turns me off from watching it. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So Kayla lost. It was a unanimous decision. I believe it was 2-3, 2 rounds for Kayla, 3 for the other lady. Kayla's beaten this woman before and stuff. So it was like, people were calling it like her biggest rival since she's already beat her twice. It was one of those things like, can you call it, like, I think Kayla even said this in an interview, like, can't even call it a rivalry when I beat somebody. So this does make something now. This is Kayla's first loss. We're going to see how she comes. Like, she did the press conference afterwards. She talked about how she's going to come back. And you're saying that she did an interview where she said she had something going on before this.
I didn't watch the whole interview, but she was on a show called the MMA Hour, I think. And people on the MMA subreddit were saying she heavily implied or even said that she has a serious illness. So... Okay. And it started off with a comment with someone saying she looks really tired. And the people said maybe it's the weight cut, but she's like, they're like, no, it's not the weight cut. She said she had a serious illness. So yeah, hopefully she's okay. And people are just making stuff up, or if she is not making stuff up, then hopefully it's not wish her well. Because I do want to see her continue to fight MMA. She has the potential to make fights really entertaining to watch, I think. And she's, I'm not going to say it's because it's her fault. I think it's just the situation of her contract and everything. And obviously Dana White being a douche kind of thing. And just, like, yeah. People are like, oh, she's dodging Cyborg. She's dodging this. It's because just the way her contract was worked out was the best financially in the best interest for her to sign that contract the way it's laid out. So I personally wouldn't say no to that contract. She's getting paid better than the UFC fighters.
She is. Well, anybody that wins this tournament automatically gets $1 million prize. There was one of the fighters. I can't remember his name right now, but one of the fighters fought on he was a sure bet for the Contender Series. He was on a Contender Series. I remember all this big talk about him going to Contender Series. All he has to do is win. He'll get the UFC contract and be huge in UFC. Next big thing. He's going to do great. And because he decided to grapple and take a guy down, I don't know if he did lay and pray, but he just took the guy down. Dana was like, I'm not here for people that want to lay. I want people that want to finish and stuff. I don't know if he didn't go for a rear naked choke, didn't go for a submission or what. So Dana didn't assign him. So instead, the PFL picked him up. He won the tournament this year. He's already a millionaire. He's made him more in his last 4 fights in the PFL during this tournament, during this year's tournament. 3 or 4 fights in this 3 years tournament, then he would have made in 2-3 years fighting in the UFC. That's just 2 or 3 years.
We mentioned this many times before, but people always say like, judo people are not in MMA, so it doesn't work. Or like, in this case, it would be Kayla Harrison's dodging Cyborg, dodging Amanda Nunes. It's like, why? First of all, it's a dangerous sport and it costs a lot of money and time to train for it. Why would I take like $2,000, $3,000, whatever, like $20, even $10,000 like to fight and get hurt, and then I still have to pay my team, pay my taxes, pay my coach? Like, why would I do that, right?
Well, let's be kind. Like, let's say like she's a big fighter. She's probably making let's say close to $1 million. Okay, so she would get 50,000 to show. And then another 50,000 win, that would make the $1 million. That's my math correctly. Let me know out there. I'm not great at math. So that's like the show, because usually how it goes. Like usually
500,000.
500,000. Yeah, 500,000. That's about 50. So 500,000 a show, and then 500,000 win. Okay, that's how most contracts are. It's usually what your show money's. It's usually the same as what your win bonus is. Your win money is. So would the UFC even pay her that much money? Because you see like these contracts with these guys, like with Chandler that came over and what's the other one? Those two. So it's Chandler and Gacy and Chase Gacy. Yeah, Gacy. Yeah, Gacy. That's the name.
Gacy.
Yeah, Gacy.
Gacy. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. So, but let's just go back to judo and stuff. I want to talk about this some more. So yes, Kayla lost. So judo looked bad there. Like, oh, judo's great champion, lost finally. All these jiu-jitsu people probably happy about that and stuff. Like shooting fireworks off in the street, I bet. But UFC, I mean, judo did come out at the 55 tournament for the men's. So we had Ole on Mercier. How do you say his full name?
It's a French Canadian name.
Yeah. I can't say the accident, but okay. But I know his last name is Mercier. So Mercier, most of you guys might know him because he was in the Ultimate Fighter. He did okay there. He didn't win the finals or nothing, but he did really well. And they were just touting him because he's been the French judo player. He was on the French national team. He placed in the French championships a bunch of times. I think he was a junior world champion or something. And I don't know if it was like world or Canadian, what it was, but he was a really good judo player on the national team and stuff. Trains with Georges St. Pierre at TriStar. And he did well in the UFC. He was going like, he gained some good wins, gained a few losses. And then he got like 3 losses in a row. UFC cut him. This is back when, like, you know how back it was back in the day. You get 3 losses and you're out. You know how it is. You get 2 losses. You got that 3rd one, they kick you out. So Mercier got his 3rd loss, signed with the PFL. And I know this guy was looking up yesterday. He's on a 7-fight win streak right now. Okay. Just using his judo, using his grappling, learning how to strike better. Gets to the finals of this year's 2022 tournament and knocks the guy out. Knocks the dude out in the 2nd round, I believe, with a right hand. And no one expected it. No one expected this judo guy to knock out this dude. It's like, oh, hey, Mercier, he's a good grappler. He'll probably take him down, throw him, grapple him, get a decision, maybe submission, you know, because I think he has a lot of decisions on his record. But he knocked him out. Boom, right there, leaves the UFC, gets cut by the UFC, and is now a millionaire. Not counting the money that he won with sponsorships and his fight purses throughout the year. Wins the tournament, automatic millionaire right there. Who knows if he would have ever made $1 million purse in the UFC?
Some of these early prelim fighters in UFC gets paid like $800 for a fight, something like that.
When I was in college and I had a guy I used to train with fight, it was like 2,000 to show, 2,000 to win. If you're on the prelims.
In the early prelims, I said.
Early
not prelims.
Yeah, early prelims.
2,000, that was more than what I heard.
Yeah, I don't know, it might negotiate down to people because that whole thing like, hey, do you want to be a UFC fighter? They'll lowball you, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's good for judo right there. So judo we lost 1 champion, but we gained another. So we still have a judo champion, the PFL at least.
I watched a couple of PFL when it was free on NBC. Is that where
yeah, they do NBC. I think their main contract though is with ESPN, but this for their finals was the pay-per-view. Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched it. I wasn't too huge of a fan of it, but I still prefer ONE FC. ONE FC is my favorite to watch. Just the time zone makes it hard.
1 championship.
1 championship, ONE FC. All their fights are just, I get to watch MMA. I get to watch Muay Thai, which I love. I get to watch, I don't really like watching BJJ, but get to watch kickboxing. Like, just all the excitement in one card, right? And the fights, like I said, on average, I'm going to get a lot of shit for it, but I already said it many times. On average, I think the fights are more, the fighters are better. But I'll just say it right out. And also the matchups are better. The fights are better, matchups are better. But I will say on the high end skill ceiling, then yes, the UFC still has the better fighters on the high end. But you watch through like a bunch of boring stuff to watch maybe like 2 or 3 good cards, maybe you're lucky in UFC. So I also was a fan of all the different rules ONE FC had. Like the soccer kick rule. I like that rule before they took it away. Like we can't do that anymore, I think. But in the beginning when I was watching it, did. Yeah.
They had that weird thing for a while. It's like, okay, soccer kicks are too brutal. So now we'll be like, so you have to wait for the ref to tell you to soccer kick somebody. And then that's talent horrible. But I can't remember his name now, but one of the Hispanic guys that went over there, that was in UFC, went over there. And it's like where he's down and the ref's like, okay, kick, okay. Like he's yelling at the guy, I want you to kick him in the head now.
I didn't know they did that. I didn't remember they changed it because they got a lot of flack for saying how brutal it is. But
yeah,
a lot of the stuff that I'm not going to say BJJ, just grapplers in general do. They assume it's like you can't kick the head or knee to the head when you're grounded. So they do all these weird things like, referee's position while trying to kind of standing up but keeping both their hands on the floor kind of thing. So yeah. Kicking the head. Like, that's just stupid, So.
Something I like about the Asian style that they have these different rule sets, like with Ryzen and with One Championship,
Yeah, I would say I watch Ryzen too, but I don't like cheaters. And Ryzen is just full of blatant steroid abusers, right? So
I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about? This guy's talking crazy here.
Which is why, what's her name? Just won this world champion again, like Brazilian in judo.
Who?
Rafaela da Silva.
Oh yeah.
So she's champion again. I'm just like, she cheated. She got caught. Like. So, so that's
it's a fair thing right there. She did get caught. She got suspended. Was she allowed to go? I don't remember her being allowed to go to Olympics because she was suspended, right?
No, she was in Olympics, I think.
Was she?
Her suspension is really short. It was like 8 months or something like that.
That was like a 2-year suspension, whatever.
No.
But yeah. Sadness of judo. Well, let's get to something cool in judo now again. So back up. So we went down again. Let's bring it back up again. So Anthony sent me this really cool video of Ono and Wolf doing some really cool video CGI thing that looks like the finishing moves in Street Fighter 4. So Anthony, what is this thing you sent me?
I don't know. I already told you when you said, let's talk about it. I'm like, I just saw it on, it's actually on Instagram now, but when I saw it was on their YouTube channel, the All Japan Judo Federation. And they called it what? Like, Judo X Volumetric. I'm really, what the hell is this? It looked like Street Fighter 5 or something, right?
Yeah. It looked like the finishers.
Yeah.
The finishing maneuvers, I mean.
It looked like they partnered with Canon, and I guess they're using it to Canon Sport Tech is what they tagged it as. And they're using all these like 100 cameras around, kind of like what they use to capture movies, I guess, for making like some DreamWorks movies and stuff. But they use this to make this super cool animation, and they're demonstrating all these throws. And it literally looks like Street Fighter 5 trailer. And Shohei Ono, Aaron Wolf, and them were doing all these throws on it. They haven't really said what they're going to do with it. But I think it was pretty damn cool. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. The All Japan Judo Federation is doing a lot to promote judo in Japan, and I think it actually has a lot to do with the declining judo population there. The popularity of judo is declining there, so I think they're trying to do a lot to have more kids do judo, even though they also have a birthing population, demographic crisis there too, just like many other countries. Yeah, it's not. It used to be just a mostly Japan thing, but now it's all happening all over the world. It's just Japan has it really bad now. So I think you can't squeeze blood out of a stone. So I don't know how much this would how this would affect, how much it would help. I don't know. So.
Yeah, but the video makes judo look really cool. It's showing the dynamic throws. They got this 360 motion. The camera is going up and down. They have a really cool one where it's sweeping underneath them, which I'm like, wow, I wonder how they did that take right there, doing the throws. And they're showing it like with how big Wolf is and stuff. And he's throwing this nameless guy in a blue gi and stuff. And then they have Ono, everyone, great technician and stuff, throwing people, which is funny because you always, I don't know why, but when I look at Ono, I always think I know he's a smaller dude. But when I look at him, I think he's a big guy. And then at the end, they have them stand next to each other to go at. And you're like, holy shit, Wolf is bigger than Wolf. I mean, Wolf is bigger than Ono.
I don't think they're actually using this just for what do you call it? Advertising. Yeah, I'm sure they're looking to using this to gather data on their athletes to potentially improve certain techniques or say like you need to start raising your elbow by 2 more centimeters because it shows it increases the velocity of something, like that's why I think they might be using it for. So yeah.
Well, I think I can't remember if it was a Wolf or Ono or it was All Japan side. So they had them, they showed them, they had a video out of them in the green screen with the green outfits on and stuff with all the balls all over it to get the motion.
Yeah, that technology. It's funny,
I didn't think about that.
Time. Yeah, but
I didn't think about like what they were using it for. When I saw the video, I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know what it was. I really didn't think nothing of it. And now we know what it was. And it turned out to be really cool.
That one requires you to have all the balls and stuff. But this one, they're wearing their judo gi. So I think that's the difference. The difference.
It's CGI'd. They CGI judo gis on them.
No, it's really weird. They had those black suits and then they have like, I guess like judo lapels, like super glued to the bottom and the side so they can still grab. It's really cool. But I want to see what they're doing. Kind of like
I'm gonna give you guys a little like how the sausage is made right here. So when I was in Star Wars, when I did Star Wars, when I was in Obi-Wan, so I played like 3 or 4 different parts of just background pedestrian stuff, like of my village, of me being a mines worker, doing all these things. So after every time we had new costumes, we would do these days, they would put us in the scanner that would just spin around you. Like you probably seen them and stuff in TV, on shows and stuff to do it. So we've been doing this in Hollywood for a while now that they do this. They scan us around, take a bunch of photos of us so they can duplicate us and make us even seem like more of us in the scenes or in background shots. And there's another show that I worked on, Blind Spotting, which is funny because they actually filmed at our dojo. Yeah. And then in season 2, I play one of the main prison guards in the show. There's only 2. Well, there were some other ones, but there's only 2 of us are the main prison guards who were there for that floor. On the last day of shooting, they brought out that Scantron thing. They scanned us around and they took a bunch of photos of like, oh shoot, there's gonna be like 5 Juans walking down this aisle now or something. So if you guys watch that show, let me know if you guys see me in that.
Yeah, it's funny when I almost blurted it out, but when we recorded our New Year special that's not out yet with our special guest, this is why I said we've been recording a lot lately. He said that, oh yeah, I remember pausing and telling my wife that, hey, isn't that Juan from Tatami Talk? Like,
yep, that's me. Yeah. You never know where I'll pop up in Hollywood. I'm all over the place. So that was some really cool technology. It really showed judo looking really, really cool in it. I suggest you guys watch it. And I would love them to turn this into what we're going to talk into next, into an anime, Mm-hmm. So as some of you guys know, what makes judo? Well, what gets people into martial arts a lot is anime. People watch Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. What's the cool thing that's out right now?
Haikyuu, well, it kind of ended already, but in the last few years, like, you remember Johnny, right? When we interviewed him, he played volleyball at like, that was his main thing before he started judo. And he was telling me like all these kids now, because he started coaching a youth volleyball team. So all these kids now are so into volleyball because of Haikyuu. Like a lot of people got into it. And I remember when I was a kid, I got into soccer because of Captain Tsubasa. I don't know if you guys know that. It's a cultural icon, basically, right? In a lot of Asian countries and Spanish countries, Hispanic, Latino countries. So, yeah, I think I've said in the past on the podcast that we need another judo anime because...
Well, what we talk about is like we need something like Slam Dunk. People getting basketball, people watch Slam Dunk and how crazy anime that was. And was it Prince of Tennis? I remember people getting into tennis after Prince of Tennis came out and stuff. All the people that never played tennis in their life, Prince of Tennis comes out and suddenly everyone has rackets. The barrier of
tennis is a little higher though. You need a basketball court and all that kind of stuff, and a racket and stuff. So
yeah. So
you don't have 2 people playing at a time in the court too. Yeah. Before.
No, just turns into racquetball after a while. So what we're getting to is that there's a popular manga that's out right now, and its name is Mou Ippon. And Mou Ippon is coming out into an anime. In the English translation, it's called Ippon Again. If you might have heard it called that instead. I'm not sure what magazine does Mou Ippon come out in?
I think it's Shonen Weekly Champions. I think I looked it up. It was called.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's in that manga. You may have read it already. Anthony did a big research on it and read almost all of it.
I read all of it. That's literally all of it, just like this last couple days, actually. So
yeah. And if you've seen his Instagram, he's been posting about it too, asking certain questions about things. And yeah. So there's that. So there's anime coming out. It's the whole thing's about a young woman that's a great judo player, and so the story's actually
she didn't start off great.
But I'm saying like in the story, like she becomes like a champion or something, doesn't she? In the story, am I spoiling? Am I giving spoilers?
I don't know. I didn't get that. I didn't get that far. The English versions of the manga probably didn't get that far yet. But no, the story, the basis of the story is basically. I'm trying not spoil anything.
I know we're trying not to do spoilers.
These two girls were the only girls in their judo club, and then if you're familiar with the Japanese school tournament format, they have team tournaments, and basically the middle school tournament they were in were only allowing it's a 3 versus 3, and they only had two people in their group. So off the bat, they already are short, like one person. And they don't have a coach. Every club has an advisor. So their advisor doesn't know anything about judo and just doesn't really care. So they fought their last middle school tournament. And then the girl's like, well, I guess that's it. We're done with judo now. Like, we're going to go to high school. We're going to study. I'm going to get a boyfriend and everything.
Ooh,
so they thought they were going to quit. So they thought they were going to quit judo. But during their last tournament, they met this girl, a fateful encounter with this girl who's really good. And, long story short, they ended up in the same high school. And then the high school also just lost their judo club because the last member just quit. And so it talks about them reforming the judo club and then going to tournaments and all that stuff. And yeah, it's if you guys watch a lot of anime or read a lot of manga, I would describe it as like first of all, it's shonen, so it's meant for, I guess, young men style to watch. Even though it's about girls, I think it's targeting the boys. And it's very hot blooded. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, please explain, Anthony.
Hot blooded, like, is very like, it gets you fired up when you read it. Like, it's like springtime of youth kind of thing. Like, like it takes you back to your school days when you're like in the sports team and all that stuff, and the camaraderie between you and your teammates. So it has a lot of that feeling. Even though the main characters are girls, it still does a really good job of imparting that kind of feeling. I also felt really felt for this one character who is one of the characters' like best friend, but she was in a kendo club, and she's like really good at kendo and loves kendo, but she kept trying to get her friend to quit judo to join kendo, but she wouldn't. And I was like, oh, hey, that's me trying to get all my friends to join judo, like, so, yeah, so she did that, but then she ultimately, I guess won't spoil it. Like she basically wanted to spend the 3 years.
Don't do it.
Yeah. People in high school, in Japan, there's only 3 years of high school. So she's like, the theme of the story was like, we only have 3 years. Let's not waste our 3 years in high school and let's try our best in judo, basically. And she really wanted to, she just basically wants to be with her best friend for the 3 years of her school. So, yeah, that's the story of basically of that manga. And I'm surprised by the drawings and the accuracy of the techniques. There's a lot of times the stuff that I've seen for other sports stuff is like very not realistic. But it's pretty much accurate, other than some ninja rolls kind of stuff we see. And it's funny because the main character likes to talk a lot, and she actually got a Shido twice for private chatter. Like the typical manga is like, it's like, you're so strong, like, and then the ref is like, no private chatter, Shido. Like, I didn't know you could get a Shido for that.
Mate, Shido, shut your mouth.
Yeah, I'm going to try that next time.
We'll be a hand signal for that.
I'm going to try that next time when I fight in tournaments. Oh my God, you're so strong. Like,
oh, thank you so much. You flatter me so. So I know one of the things that you were taught when we first looked at it and stuff was that It's reality based anime. There's nothing like they're not flying in the air. They're not throwing each other in concrete. There's no like
there's no
hitting each other.
Superpowers like seeing 2 seconds in the future kind of thing. Yeah, there's no stuff like that.
It's not like the video that we just talked about. It's not the wolf video we just talked about. So it's based off reality. It's real throwing. It's real talking and stuff. The action scenes do look, from what I've seen of the manga and stuff, the action scenes look really good in the manga. And the trailer they put out, it's fine. It's like I said, it's nothing special, but hopefully it has a good story. And I hope people are getting into this. But this is also in association with the AJJF.
All Japan Judo Federation, yeah.
Yes, which is another thing we're talking about, how judo was trying to become popular again to, get more people into it. So we make this manga, it's about young ladies, maybe some young men will watch it, will read it too, and hopefully they'll maybe join judo. This is just a thing like trying to do some advertisement out there in a public way, not just a local way, but a more public way with putting this anime out there in this manga. So let's hope that people will read this, look at this, and want to join. Because in the US, this is going to be coming out on
January 20. Well, no, that's not the US. The anime is coming out 2023.
Yeah. But I mean that it's going to be coming out on Crunchyroll, I believe.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yes. So it'll be available to watch on Crunchyroll. I don't know if it's going to be dubbed, but it's definitely be subtitled if it's on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
So it's coming out. It's supposed to come out the exact same time again as the Tokyo Grand Slam. So the Grand Slam happens on December 3rd and December 4th. And I believe it's when the first few episodes are going to be released, or the first episode has been released. But the full thing is going to come out till 2023. That's what they have written down. So I'm not sure what that meant. Like it's going to finish or just a few out first, or what they're going to do about it.
It's going to be a new episode every week. That's what they usually do, I think.
Yeah. So, but if you want to watch it in America, you can look it up on Crunchyroll. And if this gets you interested in judo, look up, like if you're listening to our podcast, you're already into judo, most likely, unless you're a BJJ or Sambo person that just found us somehow. Try judo out, And if you are into judo, advertise this. The only way it's going to get bigger is that if we put it out there, So that's why, like me and Anthony, we put on our own Instagram and stuff, put on the Tatami Talk's Instagram to watch this and show people it. And if you have a friend or family member that's into anime, we all do. We all have one. Don't lie about it. We all have one. All right. Show it to them. All right. Sit them down, get some duct tape, get some toothpicks and make them watch.
Yeah. I really wish, at least this, I really enjoyed it. What I read, I really enjoyed it. Even though, like I said, if you're not into it, it's probably because it wasn't targeted at you. Remember, they're trying to target kids. But I really wished they picked a series. I'm not sure if there is, since I don't know all the judo mangas out there. I really wish they picked a series that had kind of unrealistic superpowers, like Practice Captain Tsubasa. It was pretty realistic, but then they had all these like crazy shots where you kick the soccer ball, and like the goalkeeper is catching it and it pushes the goalkeeper backwards into the net, kind of thing,
like Shaolin soccer,
yeah, like Shaolin soccer, or it kicks a hole through the net, or just superpowers. Like another one is there's an anime about basketball called Kuroko no Basket, like Kuroko's basketball, the basketball which Kuroko plays, right? So they have like superpowers where they can make the ball disappear for a second or something like that. So yeah, it's just really cool.
What Joe oh god, the boxing one, Joe.
I know what you're talking about. It's not it's not Hajime no Ippo, right?
Yes, Hajime no Ippo. Yeah. Isn't his name Joe in Hajime no Ippo?
I think so. I don't remember.
Is it? I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, whatever. But like in Hajime no Ippo, it's like those punches they throw sometimes. And every episode or every arc, he has to learn how to defend something. I have to learn how to defend this cross because he had this disappearing cross where he just hits you so fast and stuff.
No, the guy's name is Ippo. But there's another boxing manga called Joe.
Is there? I might be getting them both confused then. But it's like that one.
Ashita no Joe. That's
Ashino Joe. That's the other boxing one. Yes. Yeah. But even those, they're unrealistic. Like they have to have these super punching powers, or they know how to they can slip really well. But yeah, this anime is more based off reality, and it looks interesting. So I'll watch it.
I think
I'm not the age for it. I'll watch it.
Maybe
I'll
just
watch one at least.
I think maybe it's just me, but when I was a kid, and a lot of us would play in the playground, play ball, and we'd like pretend we have these superpowers and like charge up our kicks and kind of stuff like that. So it's fun to spur up the imagination for that, in a sense, you know. So
it reminds me of something that I saw on I think it was Instagram or YouTube, one of the things that this guy has this workout place, and his workout place is set up like Super Saiyan powers. So all the deadlift areas has like white Super Saiyan stuff behind it, or blue or yellow. So they're lifting like the entire time. I'm like, dude,
did it have a button you press before you hit the death beat? Hit your
max.
Your max, and you hit it, and then just starts playing the sound and the music, and
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. But yeah, so it's really interesting. The one thing I remember that I noticed myself about the main character's name was Michi, right?
Michi Sonata.
All right. So the main thing I noticed about Michi is that there was another anime that came out in the late 80s, early 90s, well, mostly early 90s. It was very popular before then. Was that she looked almost exactly, when you sent me the thing, she looked exactly like Yuri-chan from the Yawada. Looked like Yawada from the Yawada animes. And if you don't know what the Yawada animes are, this was a very popular anime and manga back in the late 80s, early 90s. So Yawada was this really badass judo girl and stuff. And they made it was based on manga. They made anime of it. They made a live action of it. If you want to check that out, it was really cool. So in this one is this really badass judo girl that's going to high school, or she I think she's going to high school, and she's like the whole thing about like she wants to get to boys again. So it's always about boys. Like, oh, I want to go to college.
She wanted to quit judo. Basically, she hated judo. It's just her grandfather was forcing her to do judo. That was the plot.
But she couldn't, because her grandfather is a great judo champion also. So it's one of the things that like, so it's a really cool anime. So the characters look almost exactly like, in my opinion. To me, they look very, very similar.
You notice a lot of the guys, the boys in Japan shave their heads, and then the judokas, and a lot of girls have the short haircut. It's because it's like a uniform, you know, like you're not taking it seriously.
It's not just about the short haircut. It's a short haircut, and you do a little ponytail thing in the front and to the side.
That's what they all do. Like,
yeah.
Well, I guess that Ryoko Tani, who is based off of it, did that too, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So Iwata was based off Tani, which was she was this great judo player.
She's probably the most accomplished in history, I think.
Yeah.
In terms of Olympics.
Amazing judo player. So with Iwata-chan, with the Iwata anime, so what they did is that they set it up that every episode would air, and then at the end it would give a countdown, and the countdown was for the Barcelona Olympics, which they were hoping that Tana, since the anime was pretty much based off of her, similarly based off of her, that she would go to Barcelona and get gold most likely, because she was just like she's an amazing judo player. Okay, so every episode, like if you like 1,000 something days, and I go to 1,000 days, and it was like 100 days, and it's like 3 days away. Then it's like tomorrow is her match. Tomorrow's the day, or not tomorrow, but like how many days was when the anime to that thing came out for Barcelona. The sad thing that happened, though, now I'm bringing it back down again, sorry guys, is that she went to Barcelona, went to the finals, and took silver. Tana took silver at the Olympics, and Japan did do that well at the Olympics too. I don't off the top of my head, I think they took a bunch of silvers and bronze, but I don't think they took any gold at Olympics, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it was, but they didn't do that well. But in the end, like, Tana's just an amazing player. You want to look her up. She's a 2-time Olympic champion.
Tani, right? Yeah, Ryoko Tani you're talking about. Yeah.
She's 2-time Olympic champion. She got 2 silvers in the Olympics, 7-time world champion. 7 times. That's crazy. 7 times. So it's like after that.
She medaled 5 times in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So her last Olympic was in Beijing.
And she got bronze that year.
Yeah.
Right. She got bronze. Yep. And then she retired from judo. Well, she wasn't going to retire. I remember her saying she took some time off. She got pregnant.
Yeah. She got pregnant. So she had a kid, came back, and then won more medals. Like,
yeah. So, but now she's a politician now. She's a Japanese politician, which is very interesting because in Japanese politics, they have like real politicians and they have a lot of celebrity politicians. So she's one of the celebrity ones, I think. But hey, good for her anyways. But that was a really cool anime. And if you want to check that one out too, like it's live action. That's really fun and stuff. The grandfather's really funny in it. I remember watching that when I first got into judo to be like, because I was looking up like, where's all these judo? Like judo's so popular. Judo's so cool. Why is there no judo anime out there? Like there's no popular judo anime. There's tons of karate and boxing and just fighting anime, but not a whole lot of grappling anime. Other than Baki the Grappler.
Based off of my understanding, unless you have like a huge sponsor like the HJF or something, most anime, well, not even just anime, manga too. Like they try to serialize it based off of how much merchandise you can sell. Basically, you can't really sell much judo merchandise, I think.
Yeah, sell a bunch of white judo gis.
Yeah, like think about volleyball. You can sell figures, you can sell uniforms, cosplay uniforms, and like, yeah, and you probably get sponsorships too, right? But there's also like, let's just say Ninja Turtles, for example. There's so many toys and weapons and Power Rangers, right? Same thing. Like there's a lot of merchandise you can sell. I don't know what you can really sell in judo. So there's only a few, usually just a few characters that are the main cast versus like some anime, they have like a huge host of characters. So
yeah, and like it's gonna be interesting. Well, if this if Mou Ippon does do well and does become super popular with people, it's gonna be interesting seeing people cosplay now just plain white judo gis and a hair to the side. Like, oh, I know what you are.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be animate either. I think it'll be good to have like a drama or TV show or something. Like there were some, when I lived in Hong Kong, there were a few dramas in Hong Kong that made judo popular in Hong Kong.
We've talked about before, there's that Hong Kong movie called Throwdown. It's like one of the few movies that is like just legit judo. Yep. Like the entire movie is all judo.
Yeah, I think it was starring Louis Koo, I remember.
Yeah, if you can find it, look, it's a good, fun film. Like it's a little drama. It's Hong Kong drama. It's a little drama-y, but it's really cool fight scenes. There's one amazing fight scene in the bar, and it's a full bar of people, like a huge bar fight, and they're just throwing. There's like very few punches, but it's just all judo, just throws on tables, on chairs, bottles flying. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. There's back in the 40s, I guess. It was also Sanshiro Sugata. That's a really famous one too. Also famous in Hong Kong too. I was doing research for the trivia show we just did, right? And I was looking, maybe I should include this question on there. It ended up not being on there, but because it was too hard. But I realized the author's dad. Sorry, I'm still coughing. I think the author's dad is Saigo, not Saigo. Tsunejiro Tomita. His dad was like one of the four guardians of the Kodokan. So the show itself is actually based off Saiko Shiro, which is one of the four guardians of the Kodokan. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really hard to find that thing because I remember looking it up because I heard about it. I think I read about it somewhere. So I tried looking it up. I could not find a good copy of it anywhere. And if anyone knows where I could find a good copy, or if there's somewhere out there that you could stream it, that'd be amazing. But yeah, I remember hearing that, and I remember reading about that. It made karate guys look like a bunch of drunks in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how it always. It's always funny, the judo dramas. It's always that judo are fine, upstanding, great gentlemen, and the karate guys are thugs, bar fighters, street fighters.
Yep.
So that's pretty interesting. With other judo anime out there, the only other one I could think of, and this one that we talked about before, was when it came out a few years ago. I think a few years ago now, with that blind little judo short.
Yeah,
that came out for the Paralympics.
That was one of the Paralympic shorts they did to advertise the Paralympic sports in Tokyo, and they worked with different animators and different series. Like there's a cycling anime I really like called Yowamushi Pedal. So for the Paralympic cycling, they partnered with an anime and made a short with those characters. I don't think they did a particular series with judo, but they did a really good short about blind judo. It was pretty moving to watch. I watched it multiple times. I posted it on Reddit. So you guys should go watch that if you haven't watched it. It's just a short, but it's really good.
Yeah. And it's really cool because I know that they got back to Mou Ippon, they got Abe. I think they had Abe do the throws for she demonstrated the throws for them to make the anime too. Is that That correct? Or
no, I think they just interviewed her.
was it just interviewed? I could have
just interviewed her.
It was one of the things I saw said that. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But it's still interesting.
They had an interview where the voice actress for the main character was interviewing Watanabe.
Mm-hmm. So that's cool. Is she supporting it out there? Get out there. She's very popular out there too. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to think about that. All the judo animes out there. Like I know you're telling me about another one. No one. There's this one out here too. But all the popular judo animes I can think of are all female lead. They're always female lead, not big men lead. Why do you think that is, Anthony?
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. Like, I really don't, honestly. So,
it sounds sexist right now. Something you're going to say?
No, I was thinking of what other people have told me, and what they told me were sexist. So I don't think that's true, honestly. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Like, I personally like watching women's judo more than men's judo anyway at the IJF level. I was just literally talking to this about with someone at our dojo. He was like, I think women judo is like a lot less strength based. So it seems more elegant. And I'm like, yeah, like that's true when it's beautiful, but there's also a lot of people that spam drop throws, play a Shido game, like there's still
like go, bro. Let it go.
There's still a lot of people that do that, but I think that's why there's kind of that misconception that women's judo is inferior or boring. But I enjoy watching women's judo in general a lot more.
Mm. Oh, here's another fun fact I just remembered right now. Also, when they did the live action, 'cause I remember watching a live action film and doing all this research, looking at it a whole lot when I first got into judo. The woman they had play the actual judo player, play Yawada in the live action version. She sang the lead song. That's also interesting right there. But she actually was like a judo black. She's like, I can't remember she was a judo black belt, but she did judo also.
Well, everyone and their grandparents had the judo black belt in Japan.
Well, not everybody. Some people got karate black belts. Some people got a kendo stuff. Got a kendo dot.
I'm just saying it's not out of the ordinary.
I think it's cool. All right, look at Anthony here trying to put me down. All right. So, is there anything else about the anime you want to talk about, or Japanese judo animes out there at all?
No, I think that there really isn't that much to talk about. I wish we can make a whole episode just about that, but we are kind of right now. But I wish we can make multiple episodes about it, but I don't think that's realistic.
Well, maybe we'll do an episode once the anime is all out and see how the public likes it, see if it's very popular, see if it's a lot of memes out there for it, see if people are cosplaying it, and see if anybody watched it at all. Let us know if you're going to watch it and what you think about it. And let me know if you're going to tell your students about it.
Yeah, I was actually reading in the middle of reading another. Oh, I found there was another judo manga I was reading. Yeah, there was another. There's a few out there. So Mou Ippon's not the only one. There's a few out there. So yeah, but it's one thing to be a manga. It's another thing when you get to the next step to become an anime. Yeah, but
and then you get to the third step.
The anime is worse than the
action.
manga. Sometimes the anime is worse than the manga. So
sometimes yes. But a lot of times, no. I love anime. I'd much rather watch it than read it. That's just my lazy ass. Yep. All right, Anthony. So is there anything else you want to talk about in today's episode, or is that it?
No, I was doing a lot of recording. I think we owe ourselves one time to make a short episode. And then we're recording this because I have to leave for late Thanksgiving celebration. So I won't be here. I'm going to miss it. Well, yeah, that's why I forgot to talk about. I'm going to miss the Winter Nationals. That's one of my, I didn't realize that, right? I said that's one of my New Year's resolutions. So I'm going to miss Winter Nationals, and the BJJ tournament I was going to sign up for was going to be the same weekend as Winter Nationals anyway. So I'm missing both of them.
But in order to not sign up.
No, the original
BJJ tournament.
Yes. So I was going to sign up for one that was going to be in the LA area, but I'm going to miss that one. So I'm like, crap. Now there's two failed New Year's resolutions. So I kind of just sucked it up and signed up for a BJJ tournament down in San Diego. So when I come back, the following weekend, I'm going to San Diego for my first BJJ tournament, and I'm not looking forward to it because honestly, right now I'm still not feeling too well. So I haven't been training. I was like, okay, I'm going to start going to BJJ class more often to prepare, but obviously I can barely breathe right now, so I can't even train. And if it's going to be like this the whole time, I might just not even go. But I think I'll be fine by then. Yeah. So Yeah, that's one less New Year's resolution I'm going to break, hopefully. So I'm going to do an episode about my first BJJ tournament. What's the key?
Well, the key thing is to not make New Year's resolutions.
Yeah. That's obviously something you can do too, right? But I really want to do BJJ tournament. So
yeah, you won't be at Winter Nationals, but I will be there. I will be competing in the Masters division on Saturday, and then I'll probably be there on Sunday coaching some of our white belts that are be going to tournaments. So that'll be fun for me.
Yep, it's going to be a big one this time. So maybe you can talk about your experience there.
Yeah, we'll talk about how it is to be the first time.
Yeah.
Well, this will be my first time competing since the pandemic, so it'll be close to 3 years since my last competition. So let's see how rusty I am.
Yeah, because last time I was there for 13 hours. So,
well, this year they said it's going to be shorter because they want to get to the Marty Malloy clinic at 5 o'clock. Is that what time it's supposed to start?
They say a lot of things. Let's just put it that way. But the Marty Malloy clinic, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll leave everything to the next day. Like I've literally had for not Winter Nationals, but some other multi-day tournaments, I've literally had friends where they told them to show up on the first day and then they didn't get to it. And then because they had a clinic, they had to finish on time. And then they're like, we can get to your fight, so show up tomorrow.
So just come tomorrow instead.
Yeah, come tomorrow. Like
I got a flight tomorrow. I got to get out of here tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. A lot of families just straight up didn't compete because they're like, well, I expected to finish today, not tomorrow, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
All right, so with that, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me at @Jerry_Juan on Instagram. You can follow Anthony Throw on Instagram. You can follow the channel itself on Instagram at Tatami Talk. You can follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk. If you guys have any questions, things you want us to go over, things you want to talk about, just things you want to send it to us at tatamitalk@gmail.com. Anthony, is there anything I'm forgetting?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. So with that, don't forget to
slap the man.